Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Quote of the day is alone we can do so little and together we can do so much. Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Dr. Shajia Javed, PGR Community Medicine, and I am going to present the topic of smallpox under supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal. Learning objectives. In today's session, we will have an introduction to smallpox, what is variola virus, its type, transmission, and mechanism of infection, sign and symptoms, and how they are different from other infections, diagnosis and treatment, history of smallpox virus, global eradication efforts and the role of vaccines, post-eradication challenges and bioterrorism, global health policy, and the future research. Learning outcomes. By the end of this presentation, participants will be able to understand the historical and medical significance of smallpox as a disease, recognize the clinical symptoms and signs and ways to diagnose it, understand the global and WHO efforts in smallpox eradication campaign, explain the future research direction related to the vaccine development, bioterrorism, and the continued surveillance of smallpox. Smallpox. So, smallpox was an infectious disease caused by the variola virus, often called as the smallpox virus. It is a large prick shaped double stranded DNA virus which belongs to the genus Orthopox viruses. It was contagious, meaning it spread from one person to another. The classification of virus was classified into the variola major and the minor. The major is the most severe form and most common form with a more extensive rash and a higher fever mortality rate. The mortality rate of the variola major was approximately 30%, while the variola minor was less common, caused less severe disease. It was a typically discrete smallpox with a historical death rate of 1% or less than it. Transmission. The mode of transmission of the smallpox, airborne variola virus via the droplets from the oral, nasal, or the pharyngeal mucosa of the infected person. The direct contact with the contaminated objects like fumite was also a way, but a rare way. Virus can cross the placenta, but congenital smallpox was very rare. Infectivity period, most infectious during the first week of the rash, contagious until the last scab falls off. Mechanism of infection. Entry. Inhaled virus infects the mucosa of the respiratory tract, mouth, and throat and replicates over there. The virus then spread to the lymphoid tissue, liver, and spleen and disseminate to the skin, causing the rash. Clinical symptom. Incubation period. The first 7 to 14 days were the incubation period. This is the period after the virus enters the body, but before any symptom appear. The individual is not contagious during this time, but the virus is replicating in its body. Then there is the early prodromal symptom period of 2 to 4 days. It is characterized by the fever, a high fever, which was usually the first noticeable symptom, along with general malaise, headache, muscle pain, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting, along with backache. The early signs symptoms were similar to those which were seen in other viral infection like flu or common cold, making it very difficult to differentiate smallpox in the initial stages. Then there's a stage of the early rash in the first week. This rash appears starting on the face and the hands, raise red spots that become small blister, and fever continues. The second week is the pustular stage in which the pustule, which were with the fluid-filled blisters, develop and enlarge. Rash become more concentrated on face and the limbs, and severe fever persists. Then there were mature pustules. The pustules become round, firm, and tense. They often deeply embedded in the skin. Rash begins to dry and crust forms. The third week was the scabbing stage in which the pustule crust over and formed scabs. Fever subside, rash become less contagious as scabs form. And the fourth week was a stage of healing in which the scab fall off, leaving scar. Healing typically complete by the fourth week. This is again a graph from the Lancet which shows the different smallpox symptoms from the incubation period, prodrome period, then macule, papule, vesicle, pustule, and scab eventually in the fourth week. The progression of smallpox. If the patient survives the disease, the pus will eventually crust off and fall off, leading to the permanent scarring, especially on the face. If the patient doesn't survive the disease, death from smallpox would generally occur due to the complication like septicemia, toxemia, or the hemorrhage, especially in the malignant and hemorrhagic form of the disease. So, on the basis of the clinical presentation, there were the different forms of smallpox. Ordinary smallpox was the most common form in about 90% of the cases, which was characterized by a typical rash and the progression rate, and the mortality was around 30%. The confluent smallpox was a severe form where pustules merged, creating large area of the skin necrosis. It was fatal. Modified smallpox occurs in partially immune individuals like the vaccinated persons. Symptoms are milder with a less pronounced rash, and it was rarely fatal. The malignant or the flat smallpox was rare but severe. Lesions remained soft and flat, not progressing to the pustules, frequently fatal with a mortality rate exceeding up to 90%. Hemorrhagic smallpox, it was rare, rapidly fatal variant characterized by the widespread bleeding into the skin, mucosa, and the internal organs. Patient exhibit purpura, petechia, and diffuse hemorrhages. Now, smallpox was different from chickenpox as well as the monkeypox. Smallpox, as discussed, is caused by the variola virus. Chickenpox is caused by the varicella zoster virus, and monkeypox by the monkeypox virus. The symptoms of the monkeypox include fever, pus-filled boils, which first appear on the face. In the chickenpox, the fever with an itchy rash first appearing on the chest, back, and then to the face. In variola virus, is fever, small red spots on the tongue, pus-filled boils on arms, legs, and the face. The appearance of the symptoms in monkeypox take 5 to 21 days. In chickenpox, it's 10 to 21 days, and in smallpox, it is about 7 to 19 days. The illness in monkeypox lasts about 2 to 4 weeks, and in smallpox, it lasts up to 5 weeks. But in chickenpox, it's usually for 4 to 7 days. The fatality from the smallpox is up to 30% depending upon the type. In monkeypox, it was about 1 to 10% of the cases depending upon the strain, but chickenpox is rarely fatal. Vaccine suggested chickenpox vaccine is used chickenpox vaccine, but for monkeypox and smallpox vaccine is being used. The diagnosis of smallpox on the basis of the microscopy. There's Guarnieri bodies, which are the cytoplasm and culture bodies, are characteristic of the poxvirus infection. They are seen in the skin biopsy stained with H&E stain. They appear as the pink blobs in the infected cells. The electron microscopy revealed the identical brick-shaped virions. Lab techniques for diagnosing smallpox. The virus grow on the chorioallantoic membrane. The PCR used to confirm the presence of the variola virus by analyzing the genetic material. Restriction fragment length polymorphism is a technique which is used to differentiate between different strains of the variola virus, while serology and ELISA is used to detect the virus-specific immunoglobulins and antigens for the confirmation. Most people with the smallpox recovered, but around 3 out of every 10 people with the disease died. Many smallpox survivors have the permanent scar over the large areas of the body, especially their faces. Some are left behind. While smallpox was endemic, there was never a permanent treatment for it. Once a person was infected, it was impossible to treat them. One could only help to ease the pain and helplessly let the disease run its course and hope they survived. History of smallpox. Smallpox in ancient time, the origin of smallpox is not known. The finding of the smallpox like rashes on an Egyptian mummy suggests that the smallpox has been existed for at least 3,000 years. The earliest written description of a disease like smallpox appeared in China in 4th century. Early written description also appeared in India in 7th century and Asia Minor in 10th century. This is a picture from the CDC which shows that the traces of the smallpox pustules found on the head of the 3,000-year-old mummy of the pharaoh Ramses V. Spread of the disease. Historians trace the global spread of the smallpox to the growth of civilization and exploration. Expanding trade routes over the centuries also lead to the spread of the disease. For example, in 6th century, increased trade with China and Korea brings the smallpox to Japan. In 7th century, Arab expansion brings the smallpox to Spain and the Portugal. In 15th century, the Portugal occupies a part of the Western Africa, bringing smallpox. In 16th century, European settlers and African slave trade import the smallpox into Caribbean and Central South America. In 17th century, European settlers bring smallpox to North America, and in 18th century, explorers from the Great Britain bring smallpox to Australia. How many people died of smallpox? Donald Henderson, who directed a WHO program to eradicate the smallpox worldwide, reports in his review paper, The Eradication of Smallpox, an Overview of the Past, Present, Future. He states that during the 20th century alone, an estimated 300 million people died of the disease. He also suggests that in the last 100 years of its existence, smallpox killed at least 500 million people. Over a century, this translates to around 5 million annual deaths on average. This is a graph which shows the smallpox death rate from 1774 to 1900, showing that the smallpox death rate started to decline from 1774 to 1900. Eventually, it was eradicated. History of eradication of smallpox. Smallpox inoculation, Chinese inoculation from 1499 to 1582. Van Quan's box rash teaching 1549 described the use of the powdered smallpox scabs for inoculation. The powdered scabs were blown into the nose of the healthy individual to induce the mild cases, leading to immunity. The mortality from the inoculation had from 0.5 to 2%, which was much lower than 20 to 30% mortality rate of the disease itself. History of smallpox vaccine. Edward Jenner and the development of the vaccine. In 1796, Edward Jenner demonstrated that the cowpox ability to protect the human from the smallpox, marking the birth of the modern vaccination. He noticed that the milkmaids who had gotten cowpox were protected from smallpox. Jenner also knew about variolation and suggested that the exposure to the cowpox could be used to protect against the smallpox. Dr. Jenner inoculated a 8-year-old James Webb with the matter from a cowpox sore on the hand of the Sarah Nels, who was a local milkmaid. Phipps remained in the perfect health, making him the first person to be vaccinated against the smallpox. Formulation of the smallpox vaccine. During the 19th century, the cowpox virus, which was used for the smallpox vaccination, was replaced by the vaccinia virus. The vaccine is given using a bifurcated two-pronged needle that is dipped into the vaccine solution. The needle is then used to prick the skin, usually the upper arm, several times in a few seconds. If successful, a red and the itchy pump develop at the site of the vaccine in 3 to 4 days. In the first week, the bump becomes a large blister, which is called as a Jennerian vesicle, which fills with pus and begins to drain. During the second week, the blister begins to dry up and the scabs form. The scabs fall off in the third week, leaving a small scar. These are the components of a modern smallpox vaccine, showing a vial along with a bifurcated needle. The role of vaccination in eradication. Mandatory vaccination in the early efforts. In 1807, Bavaria became the first country to introduce the mandatory smallpox vaccination. There was some resistance in Asia and faced by the British vaccination efforts, especially in the Burma, where the indigenous population preferred inoculation over vaccination. The Pan American Health Organization began their early eradication efforts around 1950. Across America, by the mid 1960s, the disease was eliminated from most of the countries except a few in South America. WHO Global Smallpox Eradication Program. In 1959, the WHO started a plan to get rid of smallpox. Unfortunately, this global eradication campaign suffered from a lack of fund, personal commitment from the countries, and a shortage of the vaccine donation. Despite their best efforts, smallpox was still widespread in 1966, causing regular outbreaks across South America, Africa, and Asia. The intensified eradication program began in 1967 with the promise of the renewed efforts. The vaccination strategies which were used were the ring vaccination strategy. In this method, it involved vaccinating everyone within a certain radius around a smallpox case, including the contacts, households, and the community. The strategy was highly effective in containing outbreaks and preventing the spread of the virus in the endemic areas. Surveillance and monitoring. Vaccination efforts were supported by the robust surveillance and monitoring system, the track cases and the outbreaks, ensuring rapid response and the additional vaccination campaign whenever needed. These are the pictures from the history, and it is a quarantine order from California showing. And this is the bifurcated needle which is used by WHO during the smallpox eradication campaign. And this is the girl, she is 3-year-old Rahima Banu of Bangladesh, which was the last person who was infected with naturally occurring variola major in 1975. The final push of eradication in 1975, as already discussed, a 3-year-old girl from Bangladesh was the last person on the planet to naturally acquire variola major. In 1977, a hospital cook in Somalia named Ali Mawalan was the last person to have naturally acquired variola minor. The last case of the variola minor occurred in Somalia in 1977 with the disease contained by intensive vaccination and surveillance efforts. This is a picture from CDC which show the global smallpox eradication. The years which are highlighted are the years in which smallpox was eradicated from that particular region. The certification of smallpox eradication, almost 2 centuries after Jenner hoped that the vaccination could annihilate smallpox, on May 8, 1980, the 33rd World Health Assembly officially declared smallpox eradicated. This was the poster which was donated by WHO and was officially endorsed by the 33rd World Health Assembly on May 8, 1980, showing the eradication of smallpox. Smallpox and the public health policies. Impact on the global health, economic benefits of eradication. The cost of eradication efforts from 1967 to 1979 was around $300 million. Roughly a third came from the developed country which had largely eradicated smallpox decades earlier. The $300 million price tag to eradicate smallpox saves the world well over $1 billion every year since 1980. Global eradication efforts. Smallpox became the first disease eradicated through the concentrated global efforts declared eradicated in 1980 by WHO. The success of the eradication demonstrated the power of coordinated international cooperation in addressing the global health challenges. Lessons for the eradication of other disease. The eradication of smallpox demonstrated the power of vaccines and disease surveillance in eliminating a major public health threat and continues to inform the vaccine research and strategies for other diseases as well. Post-eradication surveillance and the risk of bioterrorism. A case study from 1978 Birmingham outbreak. The last known person of the smallpox occurred in 1978. Janet Parker, a medical photographer at the University of Birmingham Medical School, died on 11 September 1978 from smallpox after contracting the virus from a research laboratory. The source of infection was identified as the variola virus, which was being grown for the purposes of research at the medical school lab. This case emphasized the risk of maintaining smallpox virus samples outside of the controlled setting. The global action to destroy and transfer of the smallpox stocks. In 1981, just 4 labs in the world, in US, England, Russia, and South Africa, kept variola virus. Following the outbreak, all the non-stocks of the smallpox were either destroyed or transferred to two WHO-designated reference laboratories, which include CDC in USA and Vector in Russia, which was State Research Center of Virology and Biotech. Both labs were equipped with the biosafety level 4 containment to prevent the accidental exposure. WHO recommendations on the virus stock destruction. In 1986, WHO recommended the destruction of all the smallpox virus stocks. In 1993, the deadline for the destruction was set to 30 December 1993. The destruction was postponed to 30th June 1999 due to the resistance from US and Russia. In 2002, the World Health Assembly agreed to temporarily retain the virus stocks for the purpose of research. The 2003 smallpox scab discovery. On March 31st, 2003, smallpox scabs were found inside the envelope in 1888 book on Civil War medicine in New Mexico. The scabs were labeled as vaccination material, providing the opportunity to study the early history of smallpox. The CDC analyzed these scabs and confirmed the samples contained viable virus remnants. The 2014 discovery of the smallpox vials. On July 1st, 2014, 6 sealed glass vials containing smallpox dating back to 1954 were found in a cold storage room at FDA laboratory in Bethesda, Maryland. Studies showed that the virus from at least 2 of these vials was still viable. The smallpox virus was then transferred to CDC in Atlanta and was destroyed under WHO observation on Feb 24, 2015. Recreation of smallpox virus and the dual concerns. In 2017, scientists at the University of Alberta successfully recreated an extant horsepox virus, demonstrating how the variola virus could be synthesized in a lab. This process approximately cost $100,000 and did not require specialized knowledge, raising concerns over the ease of creating a smallpox virus. While the research aimed to develop the new vaccine and study smallpox history, the potential for the misuse for the purpose of bioterrorism became a pressing issue. Safety incidents and the risk to containment. In September 2019, a gas explosion occurred in the Russian laboratory housing smallpox virus samples. No samples were compromised, but the incident raised concern about the safety of the virus containment. The event promoted further a review of the risk associated with maintaining the live virus stocks in research labs. A similar incident occurred in November 2021 at Merck Vaccine Research Facility in Pennsylvania, but no one was exposed. Use of smallpox as biological weapon from history. Evidence suggests smallpox was sometime used intentionally as a biological weapons against Black, Indigenous, and the people of color population. Colonial warfare. British used in 18th century during the French-Indian War from 1754 to 1763. British forces reportedly gave smallpox-infected blankets to the Native American. This act was intended to spread the disease among indigenous population, causing devastating outbreaks. Indigenous communities lacking prior exposure to the smallpox suffered high mortality rates, disseminated up to 90% of the Native Americans, leading to the population decline and the cultural destruction. Reasons why smallpox is considered a bioterrorism threat. It has high fatality and disfigurement. Mortality rate of the variola major was approximately 30%. Survivors suffer from blindness and scarring, making a very terrifying prospect of the targeted attack. Ease of the transmission. Smallpox spread through respiratory droplets, direct contact, and contaminated objects, making it highly contagious. Its ability to spread quickly in unvaccinated population poses a significant risk. Lack of immunity in modern population. Routine smallpox vaccination was halted globally after eradication, leaving most of the current population susceptible. Recent updates. The debate over retaining smallpox drugs. There are certain arguments for the retention. They say that the virus can be used for the purpose of vaccine development, antiviral drugs, or the diagnostic tests, and it will be provide a better way to understand the scientific research. But there are arguments against the retention, which states that there is no current public health need to contain the virus, as the virus has already been eradicated, and the risk of the accidental release or misuse of the virus is a significant concern. The bioterrorism, smallpox, and threat. Although smallpox has been eradicated, it is possible that the variola virus could be used in a biological attack. There is no immediate direct threat of a bioterrorism using smallpox, and no bioterrorist attack using smallpox has happened in the modern times. Varroa virus causes disease only in the people. Other viruses like monkeypox can infect both animals and people. The unique character of the variola virus make it very important to study and learn from other infectious disease. The goal of the smallpox research is to address these areas that are essential for public health, like finding better antiviral drugs, making safer vaccine, and improving the test to detect the virus. Mitigation strategies for the smallpox emergence and the biowarfare. Stockpiling vaccines. Country maintains strategic reserves for the smallpox vaccine to respond to the potential outbreaks. Newer vaccine like ACAM 2000, Genosis, Aventis Pasteur smallpox vaccine are safer and can be deployed in the case of emergencies. Research and countermeasures. Antiviral medications like tecovirimat, TPOXX, and Debaxa have been developed to treat smallpox. Continued research into diagnostic vaccine and therapies enhances the readiness to combat any problem. The WHO and the other health organizations monitor for any signs of unusual smallpox like outbreak. Rapid reporting and containment measures are the risks to mitigating the risk. Global coordination is critical for detecting and responding to the bioterrorism threats, ensuring equitable access to the accountable measures. All research using the variola virus is overseen by the WHO. The WHO Advisory Committee on the Viral Research reviews every year on 25th meeting in Geneva, Switzerland from 25th to 26 October 2023. It shows that the two centers of CDC and Vector, the researches on the variola virus is undergoing in the area of genome sequences, diagnostic, making of the new antivirals and the vaccines along with animal models. MCQs. Number 1. During a smallpox outbreak, a ring vaccination strategy is implemented. Who should be vaccinated under this strategy? A. Only individuals with a confirmed smallpox. B. The people in the close contact with a confirmed case and those in surrounding areas. C. Only healthcare workers treating the patient. D. Only children under 5 years old. And E. Only people above age 50.
D.
B is the correct answer. Smallpox was declared eradicated in 1980 after a global vaccination campaign. However, certain concerns remaining regarding the virus, particularly the context of the modern day threats. Which of the following remain a significant concern after eradication of smallpox? A. The reappearance of smallpox due to the mutation in the virus. The use of the virus as a global biological weapon. Widespread vaccine hesitancy. D. Ineffective vaccination coverage. Or E. It may be reemerged because of the lack of herd immunity.
E.
B. The use of variola virus as a biological weapon is the right answer. Third, a child in remote village developed fever followed by the rash and the health authorities suspect smallpox. Given the presentation, what is the characteristic feature of smallpox lesion that would help to differentiate from other? A. Lesions at the different stages of development. B. Lesions are found mainly on trunk. C. Lesions at the same stage of development. D. Vesicular rash followed by the central clearing. And E. Target-shaped lesions. C. Lesions at the same stage of development is the right
C.
answer. In a community with a high incidence of smallpox, the local health authorities are seeking the most effective strategy to curb the spread of the disease. Given the situation, which of the following measure would be the most effective in preventing further cases of smallpox? A. Isolation of suspected case. B. Mass vaccination campaign. C. Use of the antiviral drugs for symptomatic patient. D. Public education about hygiene and nutrition. And E. Providing antibiotics to prevent a secondary infection.
A.
B. Mass vaccination campaign.
A.
Fifth, a 40-year-old patient with a history of vaccination in childhood presents with a mild fever and annual rash. The rash doesn't resemble smallpox, but is a most likely cause of the patient's symptoms. A, the patient has a reactivation of smallpox. B, the rash is likely due to the reaction from a vaccine. C, the patient has a different viral infection like chickenpox, measles. D, the patient is suffering from a bacterial skin infection. Or E, the rash is insignificant in this case.
A.
No, C, the patient has a different viral infection like chickenpox or measles is the right answer.
C.
Yes, C is the right answer. Sixth, a researcher is working with a variola virus in a highly secured lab. He accidentally breaks a vial containing the virus. What immediate action should be taken? A. Disinfect the area and continue working as a normal. B. Evacuate the lab and notify the authorities immediately. C. Wait for the outbreak before reporting anything. D. Ignore the incident as smallpox is already eradicated. E. Destroy the lab and give antiviral to the patient.
B.
B.
B is the right answer. 7. A smallpox outbreak has been reported in densely populated urban area. Given the highly contagious nature of the smallpox and the population density, what would be the most effective strategy to contain the outbreak? A. Administering antiviral treatment to everyone in the area. B. Using ring vaccination to prevent individuals in the surrounding areas of the affected cases. C. Vaccination of the entire population without any targeted effort. D. Quarantining the entire population of the city immediately. And E. Starting antibacterial to prevent the secondary complications.
B.
B.
B is the right option. A. Many patients present with a fever, malaise, and a rash that progress to the pustular lesion concentrated on the face and extremities. This is being reported as a smallpox outbreak. How smallpox virus is primarily transmitted through A. Contaminated water, B. Infected mosquito, C. Airborne droplets, D. Direct contact with animal, or E. Fecal oral route.
C.
C.
C. Airborne droplet is the
C.
right answer. Yes, C is the right answer. 9. Advances in the biotech raises concern about the potential reemergence of smallpox as a biological weapon. What characteristic makes smallpox a particularly dangerous bioterrorism threat? A. Long latency period of infection. B. Ease of transmission via the respiratory droplets. C. High resistance to existing antiviral medication. D. Limited vaccine efficacy in current population. Or E. Availability of the natural reservoir of the viruses.
B.
B.
B is the right option. Number 10. A global health professional in 1970 was asked to assist in eradication of smallpox. The strategy involved house-to-house visit, isolation of case, and vaccination of people in contact. What is this approach called? A. Herd immunity. B. Mass vaccination strategy. C. Surveillance and containment strategy. D. Selective vaccination strategy. Or E. Ring vaccination strategy.
E.
E is the right option. This is the key to MCQs. The link to our YouTube channel where all presentations will be uploaded. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice presentation, especially about the history of smallpox, how it has been used in the past as a bioterrorist attack for bioterrorist attacks and for bioterrorism. And in future, it can also be used for bioterrorism until and unless the virus is present in two countries, no matter it is biosafety lab 4 or whatsoever, it is still a threat for the humanity on earth. Even during COVID-19 epidemic, there are many questions that has been raised about bioterrorism. So we have to be very vigilant, and from the public health point of view, should raise our voice in order to save the earth from the deadly viruses, especially the pox viruses. In recent years, we have seen the monkeypox has emerged again and again, and it has caused epidemics in different parts of the world. However, the smallpox and monkeypox and the other pox viruses, they share many common characteristics, but there are many differences too. I would like you to please have a slide on the differences of the smallpox with the monkeypox. Number second, as we have already decided that the presentation should be more attractive. So the background color that was too dim. So I would suggest that the background color should be changed. So these are my two observations and suggestions for betterment. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.